I don't know if we have Mala. She is supposed to take us to Take Note, and she said she'll be ready with her dancing shoes. Mala?
Yes, Flavia, we are ready to start dancing. My dancing shoes are on, and we are ready to do this. Just to start off, take it away.
The dance is about
Take note, and today, that's the feel, that's the power we'll be having throughout Techno today. And just to tell you where we are, I'm sure you're wondering, it's super green, it's super beautiful. We are at the Roots Retreat and Camping Resort, and here standing with me is Sam Okello, who is a philanthropist, and he's the big person behind Roots. Sam Okello, this is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Like I said earlier when we were coming, my crew was like, Mala, are you sure we're on the right track?
Yes.
This is in the middle of a forest.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about what inspired Roots. Why Roots, and why this cultural feel around here?
Okay, when we were walking with a group of my friends, every Sunday I walk for 20 kilometers, and some of the things is we discuss how we can develop our country, because this is such a rich country, and all we need is to make sure that we find different ways to make sure that we have enough employment for our people. So as we were walking, we saw lots of estates coming up, and there was this green belt, and I said, well, instead of us turn it into a housing estate, why don't we create an ecotourism center?
Correct.
Where you can come and experience Uganda, and we are just like 15 minutes from Entebbe Airport.
Yes.
So those who come in to our country have just the immediate feel of safari.
Correct.
As they come in, and then we have our children also come and see nature, especially the children who are living in the metropolitan part of Kampala.
Yes.
Can come in here and be able to fish and be able to look at the monkeys.
Yes.
And look at the animals and look at here in Kampala we still have water bugs in this part of
It's amazing, guys. I wish you could come here. I wish you could have the feel of this place. Looking around, it's a forest, it's green, it's an ecotourism spot. You're just telling me that you can actually go and fish after this. Unfortunately, we can't take you there because it's quite far. It's a big space. Sam Okello, what stands out in this place is your team. And there's something special about your team and how you've just managed to get them on board, and for them to also, embrace the kind of goal and the kind of vision that you have for this place. What is it? I wouldn't burst the bubble, but what is it about your team here? I know it's comprised of young people who have a story behind it. Tell us a little bit more about that.
It's a bit complex. We have a group of artists from all over the country. Correct. With different backgrounds, but also we have a huge team from northern Uganda that came from Hope North, where I founded an organization in 1996, especially during the war in the north. After the abduction and the murder of my younger brother, I founded a foundation called Hope North, and our idea was to create a safe haven for children from northern Uganda, but still have them go to school.
Correct.
And so we have been able to see a lot of the young people go to school. And then me as an artist also started working with different artists from all over the country to build something that is safe also for the artist here in Kampala, which is Roots, and then in the north, we have Hope North, which is based in Kiryandong.
Your team here, the people who work for you, the people who make Roots such a home for your visitors are the young people, and they all have a story. I remember you told me most of them, some of them are orphans.
Yes.
What exactly is it that you're looking for? Because it's hard. You're doing things differently. It's hard for people to just, take someone who is raw, train them, mentor them, and give them a job, so to speak.
The thing is that in most solutions, the victims are not given the opportunity to be part of solutions.
Correct.
That people come from outside and then they begin to mobilize orphans, they begin to mobilize people who are coming from challenged backgrounds and then show them where to go. But what we are doing here differently is that whoever is here participates in the process of their development. When we perform, we raise resources, we use it to go to school together. When we host guests here, we share the resources, and that is how we are able to get everybody educated. And whoever is part of us it doesn't matter whatever background you have, but you contribute. If you're a musician, you play that role so that when we perform, out of those performances, you get what makes you better as a person.
Correct, correct. We'll be back with more information about what he does. He is many things in one. A philanthropist. You also a musician, and we have a studio right here. We'll take you there if we can. You're also a Rotarian.
Yeah.
You're also part of a big team that is doing big things in this particular foundation that has provided education for the less fortunate child soldiers, because you're a former child soldier yourself. So before we go any further, let's enjoy the music. Take it away. Wow, that has been amazing. Wow. Sam Okello, this
Yes.
is what happens on a day-to-day basis
Yes,
when
this is my life. This is my life.
this is your life. How long does it take to just prepare such a rendition?
Normally, it takes about a week, but because we have been in these things, I've been doing this for over 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's part of my life, and but it's about practice. It's about practice. You have to perfect it.
And your rendition is quite unique,
Yes.
very cultural,
Yes.
embracing our heritage as Ugandans. You have not diluted it. Why is this?
You see, if we are the pearl of Africa, we must offer to the world who we are. We can't just mess it up. We can't just mess it up. And for me, I think that Uganda has so much to offer. All we need to do is to have it organized. All we need to do is to bring it to the test of today. Yeah. If we are modernizing our society, we should modernize this too,
Yes.
without going wrong. We have, because we can't bring it raw as it was. We have to put the test of this current moment to it. And that's what we're doing.
And when tourists come here, because I know this is a hub for tourists, now that you're just 10 kilometers away from the Entebbe International Airport,
Yeah.
is this part of why you are motivated to just keep it as cultural as possible?
You see, when people leave their countries to come here, they want to see what we have.
Yes.
This is what we have. And so we try to make sure that when the tourists come to Uganda, they get the best of our country. And as you can see, we have a combination of everything coming from all over the country. Uganda is such a rich country with diversity. If the movements that come from northern Uganda are alone, the movements that come from west are separate. You have movements coming from Busoga region, the east, the mountains. We have all the combinations that you will be looking for. We have movements that are influenced by the mountains, for example,
Yes.
of Rwenzori. So even the dances alone, if you see them, then you are basically actually learning the geography of this great country.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And before we go into the foundation that you also, run together with a number of partners, Whitaker being part of that.
Yes.
Let's speak about you, the musician. Your music is quite different,
Yes.
and you actually mentor most young people who want to get into the scene. Why did you still maintain that bit of culture? Music is contemporary, music is dynamic, but for you, you've chosen, okay, fine. A majority is listening to modernized music, both locally and internationally. But for me, I will keep it as cultural as possible. Why? And aren't you ever tempted to move?
I'm not a scientist, but just to attempt a little bit of science, that the world is a combination of different molecules.
Correct.
Okay? And so if the experiences of the world is what is our culture, and that is what we want to offer. And I want to offer the world what Uganda is. And the thing is, the world, man has been changing, but changing in such a way that he or she makes his situation better. Okay? So we should not call our music primitive or traditional. There's nothing traditional about our music. Our music is just ours. We live with it, we grow with it. It has conventions that comes from our people. The things that the conventions that kept our people together are there. The laws that kept our people together are there. And it comes to the instruments. But also our nature. The type of xylophone you have in Uganda, you cannot have it anywhere else. True. Because the trees are just here.
Yes.
If the kind of sounds you hear as you walk along the Nile that helps you to create the music, the type of sounds you want to give is nowhere else. I'm not going to copy the sounds of Amazon because I don't live there. I copy the sounds of Karuma Falls. I copy the sounds of Sipi. Yes. I copy the sounds because it is those. A musician is not creating things out of,
Out of the blues.
The blue. No. They are here. I hear that sound of a pot and I say, when you go to Chigezi, the Chigezi originally didn't have drums. For them, they get a pot and then get banana fiber and hit it on the drum.
They customize.
Okay, they customize it.
Yes.
If you go to the north, they have these calabashes we call a guara that develops it. It is a container for collecting water. It is the umbrella, then eventually a musical instrument. So we have these resources here. We have to make sure that it is those that we develop, that we modernize and feel good about it. And that's what makes us unique.
Yes, that's what makes us unique. You also mentor quite a big number of musicians. And if our cameraman can just zoom and show us where the studio is, what groups of people are you currently working with in terms of the numbers of young people? And when they come and you mentor them, and then after the mentorship, they now go, once you set them out to the market, do you see them maintaining that cultural feel in their music, or they end up being influenced by what is happening, the current rendition of modernization?
Let me say this: the one, it has been challenging, yeah, because when we started with when I first started this, I was in Ndere troupe, and we developed the cultural arena so much that a lot of musicians pick these sounds. If you listen to the music of all these big names, the Chameleons, Bobby Wine, you know, there's a song he did, Caroline.
Yes.
Listen to the late radio. I've done a couple of songs. They all come and record from here. But they have also, all these guys have experiences with us. When you listen to their music, one thing that you will notice very quickly is that their sounds are Ugandan. Now they have started mixing a little bit of Jamaican touch to it, yeah? But even Jamaica, by the way, has our sounds, you know, because it has our people there. So the thing is, all these big names have been coming here and coming to pick from the... let me take an example of two guys.
Yes.
The late radio. He became a musician because of the Uganda Music Festival. And nobody knows about it. And this we were the ones who taught them.
Yes.
Okay? If you look at Bobby Wine, he was a student at MD department at Makerere. Okay? What Honorable Chagulanyi,
Yes.
for that matter. But
Yes.
he's my colleague in the art, so I don't mind calling him Bobby Wine. But all these artists come and do that. But somehow, because of the pressure from outside,
Exactly.
people kind of leave what is ours. So what I'm doing is we have started a new mentorship program. And it has taken now, I think, about 6 months. We are mentoring Ugandans who are going to change the cultural arena and bring our music to something that is totally different. I'm going to host something called Sounds of the Nile Festival.
And that is coming up this coming November, on the 16th to the 18th of November. Before we go into the details of the Sounds Festival that is coming up, you have teamed up with a group of philanthropists, Whitaker being amongst them, to just build a school that is set out to give an education to the less fortunate and child soldiers at that, who were taken in by the Lord's Resistance Army back then in the 90s. What is it that made you to move in that direction? I know that you are a former child soldier, but you are so passionate about it. When you speak about that story, at times you're moved to tears. What is it about it?
You know, until you have been abducted, until you have been a child soldier, you will not know what they go through. And anybody should never let a child go through what those kids go through. Never. And if there's anybody in leadership who thinks that they have to leave a good legacy, nobody should let any child go through such experiences. It's horrible, it's undeserving, and it should never be there. But anyway, that said, how did Forrest come in? When we were shooting The Last King of Scotland, I choreographed the first dance to open The Last King of Scotland.
Correct.
And the majority of the children that performed in that dance, and even the dancers, were from Hope North. And Hope North was a school that I started to look after children who had run from the war during the rebellion of Kony and Lakwena, actually.
Yes.
And so they had in the film, there was supposed to be Otole as a dance. And these kids already knew the dance. So we brought them and worked with them with The Last King of Scotland, choreographed it. And then Forrest asked and said, there is something that I don't understand about you.
Yes.
Every time we perform, you go back and talk to these kids. Who are they? So I told him that the majority of them are former child soldiers. And he said, really? I said, yes. said, I have to do something about it. So he started supporting Hope North, and then he brought in a lot of big Hollywood stars. He brought in Susan Sarandon, he brought in Mary Louise Parker, he brought in Bruce Willis, he brought in Whoopi Goldberg, and all these artists started supporting Hope North.
Supporting Hope North,
Yes.
and right now you're actually educating over 300 students within the school.
Yes.
That's amazing. Let's go back as we wind up. Let's go back to the coming festival that is scheduled to take place this November from the 16th to 18th of this year. This festival is the first edition, Sam. Why has it taken so long for it to actually start? Because I know it's still the main mantra for this festival is embracing our cultural heritage. It's so cultural and so rich. Why has it taken so long?
Good things take long to incubate. It takes a while. Now, this festival, let me explain this. First of all, it's going to take place at Hope North.
Correct.
Okay, so it is in Kiriandongo near Mazishons National Park. We want the world to go and see what Uganda can offer right there and stop doing things just only in Kampala. Okay, secondly, we are going to bring in big names, like we are bringing Oliver Mutukuzi to go and perform there. We are bringing a Frigo Band to go there. We are bringing Abib Koite. We are bringing Huba Huba Band. We're bringing lots of big names to go and work with the Ugandan artists who have been mentored by them. So these guys have been coming in here quietly and going back, but we are still, breeding the good stuff.
You're warming up to that particular festival. As we come to a close, as opposed to all these other things that you're doing, the heart of it and the bottom line is it's business at the end of the day, and you're doing things differently. As we come to a close, what would you tell someone watching us? Either they're in business or they want to get into business, and they're afraid of doing things differently because they're like, will the market accept me correctly? Will I make money if I'm different? What would you tell them as we come to a close?
Just do it. This country has so much opportunity. All we need is to see how we can turn the resources we have into wealth. It is possible to do it, and if you can't, if you fear, come to Roots Retreat and Camping Resort in Chitende and see what we have been able to do with our environment.
Yes, when you come here, he is a mentor and he's so passionate about mentorship. He will hold your hand and guide you through. If you're a musician, this is the place to be. He will be right here. Thank you so much, Sam Kelo, for even, welcoming us to this haven. It's so beautiful. My crew was saying, can we stay for longer? Guys, we have to go back to work. So we leave you with the performance from the cultural team. Enjoy and have a blessed day. My name is Malaki Villaodera. We'll do this yet again next week, 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Stay tuned.